What's going on? In this video, I'm back in the Outer Banks, and this is 3 different sessions where I think I progressively get better, but also the waves get better in each session. So let's take you through it. Session 1 was a smaller session where I was on the foil drive max. The waves were smaller. I was on the Axis Art V2 999, a wing that I have been very comfortable with. So you'll see here, I'm comfortable with doing the airs for the most part. I'm landing a bunch of them when the wave provides, but I had this stationary drone here, so I'm filming my own drone clips where I just flew it up, kept it in the same spot, and then I went out and foiled for a little bit, went back because I was a little paranoid a few times about the drone being up to check on it, but then I just would go back out making sure that the battery was still charged. So that's why it's this big overview, but I think it gives a cool shot of how I did. There's another air right there. During this session, I also had my camera stationary. Didn't work out quite as how I wanted it to because I kept going out of frame. So I got a few clips of me staying in frame, but I was just barely in it. But it's cool to just see a little more close up of like the turns on the waves. And I think I did a few airs in some of these clips. But yeah, back to the drone. As you can see, I'm staying close to the pier. The 3 surfboarders in the water are my friends who I was on this trip with. So no fear in getting a little closer to them or maybe stealing one of their extra waves. We were all having fun out there together. Back to the camera now. I'm just doing quick jumps here. This is funny because my friend Luke walks right in as I'm doing the air, but kind of reveals me doing the air. So I thought that was a super funny little clip. I kind of got stuck behind the wave though and didn't really truthfully ride that one out. The waves were a little bit choppy this day, as you can see, but that Axis Art 999 really made it no problem for doing airs, even pumping back out into some of the waves. Made it super fun. All right, and then we move on to session 2. In session 2, this was actually my last day of the trip. It finally picked up and we had some sizable waves. So we had to go out right at sunrise. This was at like 5:30 in the morning just to make the most of the last day of the trip. In this session, I finally got the excuse to bring out the Axis Spitfire 780, the smaller wing that I brought. I have yet to use this wing because I was waiting for the right time. I wanted the waves to be bigger, and I was super happy and impressed with the wing, the pumpability, just the versatility of it. It's holding through on these big waves, not blowing out when you're dropping into a steep section, but also could make some turns on those waves and pump back to the next. So I thought it was a super fun wing. This session was also self-filmed on the drone when I just threw it up because all of my friends that I went with, they were all in the water enjoying these perfect waves as well. So I didn't have anyone to film for me, so I just put it up. I'll zoom in a little bit so you can see kind of where I am on some of these since I know I'm far away from the camera, but I figured this was a cool shot just showing the size and the frequency of the waves that were coming in. They were really fun and really good. You can see here I get a little close to a couple of my friends, threading the needle in between them to keep riding the wave. They're all cool with it. They trust me on the foil for the most part. We're all staying safe and having fun out there. Like I said at the start of this video, I'm on the foil drive max in all of these with the high power motor. Gives me a little extra run time and a little extra boost. Not that that's needed in these waves, but still cool to have. I have the Cedrus 80 centimeter mast, which I love for just putting different front wings on. And then I was on the Appletree Zapple. I'll talk about that a little bit more later in this video, but it is 5 foot, 38 liters. It's really a good just mid-length board. It also has the trench. So it's super good on the touchdowns, especially in these waves at these higher speeds. When I touch down a little bit, you really don't even feel it. So that's super fun. But yeah, as you can see, like right here, I'm able to pump that Spitfire 780 right back out over a few waves into another one. So I was super surprised, especially with the foil drive on and everything. It's pretty remarkable how well that wing pumps. About halfway through the session, I actually had my first what I would call foil drive accident. I was reaching for the board, a wave kind of picked the mast up and I stuck my hand right into the prop. Luckily, I did not have the prop spinning at the time, so I just reached into the sharp prop blades, cutting 3 of my fingers. By that time, I had to go in and nurture my wounds, so it was a perfect little break in the session where then I switched to the Max Sport battery. That's in these next videos you see here and why it got a lot lighter out. I also had my friend's dad, who was done with his surf session, pick up the drone and attempt to fly it for his first time. It being his first time, he was a little bit beginner at it and wasn't great at keeping me in the frame, but we'll take what we can get. He did get a couple cool ones where you can really see just the size of the waves and how I was able to move on them with this Spitfire 780 front wing. So yeah, super fun. This next one, he almost keeps me going in the frame, but I kind of just skirt out of it right there and I'm gone. This next clip is like my favorite clip ever. You'll kind of see me in the background and then you see a big splash. Oh, what happened to Hunter? Well, this is exactly what happened. Not quite sure, but it was just a huge wipeout. This is the last clip from this session where I pump back out. You can see me turn on the wave, but I kind of get stuck going behind the wave, so I won't say this is my best one, but I kept this in because of this moment right here when I'm going back out. Just thought all these pelicans flying across was pretty cool. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. That's the last part of session 2 before we get into session 3. This last session, I like to say all the stars aligned. The waves were great. It was the middle of the day of the last day of the trip, so I went in from that sunrise session and charged all the batteries, and then we got right back out there. I had my friend Austin on the drone the whole time, so that's why we have a majority of this video is from this session, but it's really cool because he's following me the whole time. I'm on that Spitfire 780 again, so you can see I just connected a wave in that first clip, and then I was doing a lot of what just happened in this video. I was motoring and then pumping out the back into the next wave and then making a turn to come back into the wave, really practicing that pump out, but then also the turn back into a wave like this here. Boom, really trying to whip back in. That one I almost lost it, but was able to save it and then cruise down the line. I was really surprised as to how this 780 held up so well. It really was a good all-around wing, especially for these conditions with it being, you know, virtually no wind, but also able to pump out the back this much and still connect a wave. I mean, I don't think I've ever done that on a smaller wing, let alone with the weight of a foil drive. Obviously the foil drive doesn't weigh that much, but with the weight and how precise you have to get to not have the motor dip, it was great. So that's why there's so many of these connections in this video, just because of how fun it was on the swing. This next clip is really cool because it just shows how useful foil drive is even in these types of conditions. I was catching the rollers all the way out the back, like when they were just forming. Obviously there was like no wave at the start of this, but then I'm riding it the whole time it's going all the way in, and it's like I can just see wherever I want to go, where the best spot is in the wave, and then eventually peel off and pump to the next and make a turn on the next. So super fun, shows the use case of foil drive so well. And then this one was probably one of my favorite turns back into a wave that I had. I got it super tight, but then I came up right on the top of the wave and was able to drop down and hold my speed and not blow out. Almost did right there, but held on to it, made a turn back to where it's breaking, and then cut back out. So I thought that was super fun, and that one felt good. This next clip, I just make a bunch of turns, you know, caught it early, something really only the foil drive can do. Then made the turns, and then you'll see at the end of this clip, I kind of start my journey on this session of trying to do an air, which was a little different with this smaller Spitfire 780 wing, so it took a few tries. This clip could have probably been the clip of the session if I were to have rode this out. Great turn here, but then I just couldn't quite make the turn back down and kind of got smoked and eaten up by the wave, so that was a bummer. All this gear I'm using on this trip was generously provided by MACKITE. They were nice enough to give me some gear to try while I was down here. Obviously, I've been on this Zapple for a little bit now in the Foil Drive Max, testing it out, just seeing what's good and what's not about it, but I've really been happy with everything about all this gear, so have no complaints. Would highly suggest this Appletree Zapple to anybody looking for a foil drive specific board, based on the trench system and the touchdowns where you don't even feel the drag of that foil drive. Really, the only drag you're feeling is of the motor pod, but even then, it's not that significant, especially compared to the drag you might feel on just a regular board of the actual foil drive unit where the battery is stored. So I think it's worth trying out a trench board if you ever get the chance to see what you like and what the difference is. These waves were kind of doubling up right here, but here I go for my second attempt at an air and didn't get it, unfortunately. This next clip is probably one of the better clips. Might have to post this one on Instagram or something, but I was able to connect 3 waves in this one. So I did a couple turns on this first wave, saw that the second wave was like just within reach, so decided to pump back out to go make it to that second one. Got it right after it was breaking, and then I went back and was feeling mighty to go to the third. Unfortunately, Austin didn't really follow me here and lost me on the third one there, but oh well. I loved how clear the water was on this session. It not only made it just super fun to be riding out there, but also these drone clips just look so cool. You can kind of see the sand swirling up where the waves are breaking more often. A lot of these clips, I was just going left on the waves because I'm goofy footed. That's where I favor. And then I was doing the airs in about the same spot. I was trying to ride as much as I could before doing the air. Probably could have done them sooner, but I'm still falling on them. I'm still learning. So I wanted to get as much ride time as possible before I did the air. Also was really happy with this clip from the get onto the wave, U-turning back into it, but coming all the way to the top of the wave to make a turn. And then I eventually do an air and bingo, finally landed one. Had to motor out of it because of what I just said, where I'm doing the airs later on, but still stoked, and Foil Drive is able to make that happen. This is the reality of foiling. I fell pretty hard. Probably kissed the board on that one. This is also another reality of foiling. Just getting over the wave, but not quite holding on and falling after the wave. Having the drone out for this session really showed just how good these waves were and how clean it was. Nothing really there to mess you up. I probably should have proned more in this session, but I was just having so much fun catching every single wave thanks to the foil drive. So I couldn't really put it away. I was struggling going in. I just wanted to stay out there the whole time. Here's another one of me catching just the rolling wave way out the back and trying to trail it in. This one didn't really shape up to what I wanted it to be, so I turned and started to pump to the wave behind it because I saw that that one was breaking good. Pumped to the wave, and then I was setting up for an air on this one. You'll see on this air that I kind of had a gnarly fall. I actually took the wingtip right to my thigh, leaving a huge bruise. Luckily, it didn't break the skin or anything, but I had a huge bruise for a couple weeks after that one. So that one was good, but all for the love of the game, I guess. Doing a couple turns on this wave, and then finish that one off. One thing I definitely want to work on is getting the wingtip of the front wing out a little more on these smaller wings. The 780, I'm honestly just not used to the shorter span. I think I've gotten comfortable with that around 1,000 millimeter span. Makes it easier to just get the wingtip out. You don't have to turn as hard to get the larger wingtips out, or the larger spanned wingtips out. So just is a little more comfortable for me. So it's definitely something I want to work on, is kind of carving harder with these smaller front wings, because you're able to with them. I think I was learning it pretty good. I actually took it behind the boat a couple sessions after this and was feeling really comfortable behind the boat. So I'd like to take this 780 out again into actual swell and good waves to really see what it's capable of there. This next wave is pretty visually appealing, but unfortunately, I make this turn to go back left and it closed out on me. I think that was the only closeout really I had the whole day. Everything else you could kind of just run left or right. I was mostly running left just because that's what I'm comfortable with, as you can see in this video right here. This is the final clip of the session, and overall I'm really happy that this got to be the final day of the trip. The waves actually decided to show up and they were really good. I didn't have to travel for them. They were kind of right outside our doorstep. But yeah, hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you enjoyed the commentary. Let me know if I should do more commentary like this. But yeah, here's me walking into the beach and finishing it.